Good day, class. Welcome to our online class, Grade 7 Phoenix. Before we start our discussion, let me introduce myself. I'm Cyril May Abelyar, but you can call me Teacher Sai. May I ask you a question? How is everyone doing?
I'm good, ma'am.
Thank you,
Good.
Norshel. So let's proceed on the next slide. Before we start, let's have a prayer.
Please bow your heads and let us pray. Dear Jesus, please show me how to spend this day sharing your love in every way. Help me to be kind to everyone, to play and laugh and have lots of fun, shining your light and giving your grace, sharing your joy with a smile on my face. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits me here. Ever this day be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen.
So let's have to check our attendance. Kindly please click the link below so I will know that you are present today. So
Okay,
let's
ma'am.
proceed. Thank you, Norshel. Let's proceed on the next slide. Let's have a review. Identify the independent clause and the dependent clause. Number one, can you answer the number one, Norshel?
Number one, although we requested help, we did not get any. Um, I think the answer there is the independent clause is we did not get any, and the dependent clause is although we requested help.
That's correct, Norshel. Thank you for your wonderful answer. Number two, Mr. Adrian, kindly please read the number two and answer.
Frank took the bus, which shows how democratic he is. Um, the independent clause is Frank took the bus. The dependent clause which shows how democratic he is.
That's correct. Thank you. For number three, may I call on Miss Jai to answer the number three?
Number 3. I asked the question that no one else wanted to ask. The independent clause is I asked the question, and the dependent clause is that no one else wanted to ask.
That's correct. Such a great answer. Thank you. For number four, let's proceed on number four. Can you please answer in the number four, Miss Norshal?
Okay, ma'am. Mr. Morton, the most dangerous leprechaun hunter in the north, celebrated by grabbing coins. Um, I think the answer there, ma'am, is Mr. Morton is the subject and celebrated is the predicate. The most dangerous leprechaun hunter in the north is the praise.
That's correct, Miss Norshal. Let's proceed on number five. Miss Jai, what is, kindly please read the number five and tell me what is your answer in number five.
Number 5. Peeling back layers of gold foil, the pawnbroker showed him the delicious piece of chocolate inside. My answer is the pawnbroker is the subject and showed is the predicate. Peeling back layers of gold is the phrase.
That's correct. Wonderful answer. Next, kindly please read and answer the number six, Mr. Gerzon.
Though disappointed about not getting all gold teeth, Mr. Morton was happy to have so much candy. Mr.
That's
Morton
correct.
is the subject, while the predicate is the word was, though disappointed about not getting gold teeth is the praise.
Thank you. That's correct. You already know our topic last meeting, and it's all about the phrases, clauses, and sentences. So now we can proceed to our main topic. But before that, let's just test what you know. And here's a quick review about it and what I know. Number one, what sort of reading is skimming? Anyone know the answer? Miss Laika?
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay, for the answer of number one, ma'am, is A. I think A, this is a quick reading.
Very good, Miss Laika. The correct answer in number one is letter A, quick reading, because when you skim, you read very quickly. So for number two question, what sort of reading is scanning? Letter A, quick reading, B, slow reading, C, intensive reading, D, close reading. What do you think is the answer, Mr. Gerson?
I think the correct answer is quick reading, letter A.
Definitely, that is the correct answer. Very good, Mr. Gerson. Thank you. What sort of reading is close reading? A, quick reading, B, slow reading, C, intensive reading, D, careful reading. What is the answer, Miss Jai?
The answer is A, quick reading.
Thank you, Miss Jai. That is the correct answer because you scan a dictionary to find the word you want. For number four, what sort of reading do you use to find out what is on TV today? Letter A, skimming, B, scanning, D, C, rather, careful reading, letter D, close reading. What is the correct answer, Miss Norshell?
Ma'am, it's letter A, skimming.
That is the correct answer. Thank you, Miss Norshell. Because you skim the TV program to find out what's on. And the last question is, if you want to find the football results in a paper, you blank A, skim, B, scan, C, read carefully, or letter D, read closely. Anyone who wants to answer the number five? Miss Laika, do you know the answer in number five?
This is letter B, ma'am, span.
Yeah, that's correct, Miss Laika. Letter B is the correct answer, which is scan, because you scan a paper for the football results. So definitely you have a background about what kind of reading strategy is all about. So let's now proceed on the next slide. For today's lesson, it is about appropriate reading strategies. So let's have an activity first. How fast can you read? Would you like to improve your reading speed? Reading speed refers to any of several techniques used to improve one's ability to read quickly. Anyone can read the paragraph, but I need a representative to read the entire
Ma'am,
paragraph. Yes, Norshell, thank you. Kindly please read.
yes, ma'am. Um, Eating broccoli is very good for our health. In addition to its delicious taste, it contains antioxidants that can combat cancer causing radicals. It is also beneficial to reduce cholesterol. Furthermore, our bone health will also be maintained because the calcium content in broccoli is known to be quite high. Moreover, the body's need for vitamins A, B, C, K can also be met if you consume broccoli regularly.
Thank you, Miss Norshell. So let's have post-reading activity. What do you think is the main idea of the about eating broccoli? Anyone know the answer or any have idea wants to share?
Um,
Okay, Mr. Gerson.
Eating broccoli is very good for our health.
That's correct. That is the main idea of the paragraph. And how much time did it take for you to find it? How much time did it take for you to find it, Mr. Gerson? For 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 1 minute, or maybe two,
Five
five,
seconds.
5 seconds. That's nice. And what did you do to find it? Did you do scanning, skimming, or close reading, or have a deep analysis about the paragraph?
Scanning. Scanning.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Gerson. So let's now proceed on the next slide. It is about what is it? Which of the following did you do to find the main idea in the above article? Letter A, let your eyes run along with the text. B, choose what to read. Letter C, fast reading to get the general idea of the text. This ABC is a technique which you must do when you finding the main idea of a text. Can you please read it? Anyone from the group? Any representative? What is skimming?
Ma'am.
Yes, Norshell.
Skimming is an organized search to find out quickly what a book, a chapter, or an article is about.
Thank you, Norshell. Skimming is a reading technique which means to look for or for main or general ideas without going into the detailed reading. It will save you lots of time. So let's now proceed on the next slides because there are four types of skimming, which is overviewing, previewing, skimming for the main idea, and skimming for the review. So let's have a deeper analysis. First, let's have overviewing. What is overviewing, Miss Jai?
Overviewing is a quick look through a book, a chapter, or an article to get the general idea of what it is about.
Thank you, Miss Jai. Overviewing is like looking at a photograph of your locality taken from a plane flying at a high altitude. Overviewing helps you decide whether the material is worth reading or difficult to read. So, on the next one is about previewing. Can you please read, Miss Laika, what is previewing?
Sorry, ma'am, it's me.
Yes, Miss Laika, can you please read what is previewing?
Okay, ma'am. Previewing is a close look at the book or article. In a previewing, you read the title, headings, words in special types, captions, and notes.
Thank you, Miss Laika. The previewing is you also read the first and last paragraph of the material. That is previewing. So let's proceed on the skimming for the main idea. The skimming for the main idea is, can you please read what is skimming, Mr. Gerson?
Skimming for the main idea is a paragraph by paragraph search for the main idea. In this type of skimming, you read the first sentence of each paragraph and the last sentence of a long paragraph.
Thank you, Mr. Gerson. How to skim for the main idea? There are steps or ways on how we skim for the main idea. First, find the topic sentence. Usually, the topic sentence is at the beginning. Second, read the first sentence of the paragraph. Third, read only the words that will help you get the sense of the text. Fourth, skip some unimportant paragraphs because there are some which is not connected or not have a big it's not a big deal on the text. And number five, read the last sentence paragraph carefully because sometimes the last paragraph or the last sentence in a text will give you a hint where you can find the main idea of the text. And the last one is skimming for review. Miss Norshell, what is skimming for review?
It helps you to remember materials you have already read or skimmed.
Thank you, Miss Norshell. This type of skimming is used to recall ideas you have forgotten, and the following strategies may be helpful when you skim a selection. And number one, can you please read, Miss Laika?
For the number one, read the title of the selection.
Thank you, Miss Laika. Number two, Miss Jai.
Number 2, read the first 2 or 3 paragraphs.
For number three, Miss Norshell.
Number three, read the first and last sentences of all other paragraphs. Look for keywords.
Thank you, Miss Norshell. For number four, Mr. Gerson.
Read subheadings and notice words in boldface type or it- italic type.
Thank you. For number five, Miss Laika.
Okay, ma'am. For the number five, read the last paragraph. The final paragraph often summarizes the content.
So this time, try reading the menu below. It's about Greenwich Delivery Menu, and it has special offers and the pizzas. And how many flavors of pizza are on the menu? Can you find them in 5 seconds?
Ma'am,
Yes, Norshell.
I come again, ma'am. The question.
How many flavors of pizza are on the menu? Can you find them?
8, ma'am.
That's correct. Easy, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's try again. What 12 inches Barcada pizza flavor has the lowest price? Can you find them in 2 to 3 seconds?
Ma'am,
12 inches. Yes, Norshell?
I think 336.
Yes, that's correct. It's 336. You can find it at the lower section of the menu, which is classic cheese, ham and pineapple classic, ham and cheese classic. That's correct, Miss Norshell. Wonderful answer. Thank you. So let's now proceed on the next slide, which is about scanning. Scanning is a reading technique to be used when finding specific facts information quickly, and it about names, dates, prices, distances, and similar information. And when you scan, you have a question in mind. You do not read every word, but only the words that answer your question. So let's now proceed on the next slides about the following techniques when scanning a selection. Number one, can you please read? Number one, Miss Jai.
Number 1, know exactly what you are looking for before you start scanning. Keep in mind keywords related to the information you want.
Thank you, Miss Jai. Number two, kindly please read, Miss Laika.
Okay, ma'am. For the number two, quickly glance down the pages or the columns to find keywords. Use these clues. Section, titles, subheadings, words in a boldface type or italic type. First and last sentence of a paragraph and illustrations.
Thank you, Miss Laika. These two following techniques is very useful when you do scanning technique or when you scan a selection. You must remember these two techniques. So let's now proceed on the benefits of the skimming and scanning. Both skimming and scanning are very useful tech strategies when you do research projects and when you need to find answers from a large piece of text. Why? Because in a classroom, the intensive activities include skimming a text for specific information to answer true or false statements or filling gaps in a summary. While scanning while scanning a text to match headings through paragraphs and scanning jumbled paragraphs and then reading them carefully to put them into the correct order. Intensive reading involves learners reading in detail with specific learning aims and tasks. It can be compared with extensive reading, which involves learners reading text for enjoyment and to develop general reading skills. Now, what if you are tasked to analyze a text, determine the purpose of the author in writing the text, identify the main idea and the text that support it, or make a summary? What reading strategy are you going to do? Let us go back to our article about broccoli a while ago. So, it is what it is the paragraph that read by Miss Norshell, and the main idea is eating broccoli is very good for our health. That is the topic sentence or the main idea of the text. It's about the benefits of the broccoli. And there are supporting sentences that support the topic sentence. First, it is also beneficial to reduce cholesterol. And next one, because the calcium content in broccoli is known to be quite high. Then third one, the body's need for vitamins A, B, C, K can also be met if you consume broccoli regularly. So this is the answer or just a recall for the paragraph that was read by Miss Norshell. So let's proceed on the next slide. The purpose of the author in writing this text is to inform. The article contains information about benefits of eating broccoli. Do you agree, class, that the
Yes,
benefits
ma'am.
that broccoli has a lot of benefits in our body?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Because on your first read on the paragraph, you were able to find topic sentence and determine the main idea. Then once you read again, you find the details that support topic sentence, and you can do underline or encircle the sentence or group of words if you write them on a sheet of paper, and then finally you do the third read, which is how is the short article written and what do you think is the purpose of the author in writing the short article. So let's now proceed on the next slide, which is close reading. Close reading in literary criticism is the careful, sustained interpretation of a brief passage of a text. And close reading is a skill that requires readers or learners to determine purpose and notice features and language used by the authors so that they can think thoughtfully and methodically about the details in the text and why they were used. In close reading, you will carefully and purposefully read and reread a text. When you close read, you focus on what the author has to say, what the author's purpose is, or what the words mean, and what the structures of the text tells us. You also make connections to history, human behavior, and real life situations. If you can do all of these, you have really understood what you have read. Do you agree, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
guys. On the other hand, on short stories and other texts, to begin your close reading, ask yourself several specific questions about the passage. These questions are not a formula, but a starting point for your thoughts. When you arrive at some answers, you are ready to organize and write. You should organize your close reading like any other kind of essay, paragraph by paragraph, but you can arrange it any way you like. First is your first impression. Second one is the vocabulary and diction. And the third one is discerning patterns. And letter D, point of view and characterization. Letter E is the symbolism. Do you get it, guys? So,
Yes, ma'am.
uh, thank
Ma'am.
you, Miss Laika. Thank you, Norshel. And developing your skill in close reading is important because this will help you become independent reader who analyzes and interprets the text and ultimately connects with it on a deeper level to justify your answers in class discussions and write assignments. Also, bring out your own ideas and perspectives. Are you ready for our activity number one? So let's now proceed on activity number one, which is scanning. I'll flash about the phone sale of Alpha Phone, and I'll send it to you on our class group chat so you can compare the six types of phones. Number one, can you please answer the number one, Miss Norshell?
Okay, ma'am. The print ad is for letter A, people who are mobile phone sellers. Letter B, people who are mobile phone designers. Letter C, people who want to buy expensive mobile phones. D, people who want to buy mobile phones at low prices. And the answer is letter D, ma'am.
That's correct. Wonderful answer, Miss Norshell. The print ad is for people who want to buy mobile phones at low prices. For number two question, kindly please read and answer, Miss Laika.
Okay, ma'am. For the number two, which phone has the smallest screen? For letter A, phone A. Letter B, phone B. Letter C, phone C. And for the letter D, phone D. And for the right answer is phone B, ma'am.
Amazing answer. That is the correct answer, Miss Laika. Phone B, because phone B has a 4.5-inch display, and that is the smallest screen. And for number three question, kindly please read Miss Jai and give your answer.
Number 3. Does the company offer a home delivery service? A. Yes, it costs 500 pesos. B. Yes, delivery is free. C. There is no delivery service offered. D. Yes, but the cost of the service is unknown. My answer is letter D. Yes, but
Yeah.
the cost of service is unknown.
Thank you, Miss Jai. That is the correct answer. Because on the given details about the phone sale, it the delivery fee is they offered a home delivery fee, but the cost of the service are unknown. They did not indicated the amount of the delivery fee. So let's proceed on number four. Kindly
Ma'am.
please read and answer, Mr. Gerson.
Number 4. Which phone has the largest RAM? A. Phone A. B. Phone B. C. Phone C. D. Phone F. The answer is D. Phone F.
Amazing answer. That is the correct answer, Mr. Gerson. It's phone F because it has 3 gig RAM and 16 gig ROM, and it has the largest phone capacity. And number 5, Miss Norshell.
Uh, Number 5. Which phone is the cheapest? Letter A, phone A. Letter B, phone C. Letter C, phone D. And letter D, phone F. Um, I think the answer is phone A. Letter A, ma'am. Phone A.
Thank you, Ms. Norshell. That is the correct answer, phone Ace, because it costs the cheapest phone is letter A, which is phone A, because it has a 5-inch or 720 by 120 1280 display powered by 1.6 processor alongside 1 gig RAM and 13 megapixel rear camera. So I guess you are all perfect in activity number one. Am I correct, class?
Yes.
Thank you. So let's now proceed on the activity number two, which is skimming for the main idea. When you skim for the following article for main idea, first, you must read the title. Second, read the first and last paragraph of the text. And third, read the first sentence of all paragraphs and the last sentence of paragraphs more than 5 lines long. And the fourth one, read any sentence and words in special type, which is boldface or italic type. And let's now proceed on the next. Anyone can read the what is plunking? Kindly read the passage.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Spelunking. Spelunking is the exciting sport of cave exploration that can be enjoyed by all ages. When you explore caves, you can appreciate the wonders of our world beneath the earth. Many caves can maintain a steady, non fluctuating temperature that is comfortable year round because caves are underground and not subject to air temperatures and the sun. So, splunkers can experience adventures at any time of the year.
Can you please? Thank you, Miss Norshell. Can you please read what is cave formation, Miss Laika?
Okay, ma'am, for the cave formation, caves are formed over thousands of years through a very slow process. As it rains, rain droplets absorb a small amount of carbon dioxide. The droplets gather more carbon dioxide as they move through soil. Water mixed with carbon dioxide become an acid solution, which make holes and channels in rocks. Over thousands of years, caves are formed.
Thank you, Miss Laika. On the next one, can you please read Miss Jai? What is natural beauty?
Natural beauty. As caves are formed, they develop breathtaking columns which reach from the ceiling to the floor or from the floor to the ceiling. The icicle shaped rocks that hang down from the ceiling are called stalactites. The icicle shaped rocks that push up from the cafe floor are called stalagmites.
Continue, Miss Jai.
Generally, the dark colored stalactites and stalagmites are considered to be dead and the light colored ones are living. Dead simply means that they are no longer receiving a growth source. Scientists believe that it takes nearly 1,000 years for a stalactite to grow. Formations made from dripstones deposit in the cavern are said to grow 1 inch every 100 years. You can also find calcite crystals.
Thank you, Miss Jai. And the cave habitat, can you please read Mr. Adrian?
The cave habitat. If you like creepy crawlies, you will love exploring in caves. You can expect to see bats as well as cave crickets, spiders, and algae. Most bats are only about 4 inches or smaller from head to tail. But bats can sleep for 5 days and leave the cave for 1 day to find food. The bats are harmless and will not attack people as the movie suggests.
Can you repeat after me, Mr. Gerson? Algae. It's algae.
Algae.
That's correct. And next one, Mr. Shell. Splunking dangers.
Okay, ma'am. Spelunking dangers. Spelunkers should always travel with someone who is familiar with the cave in which they are traveling. In the winding maze of cave tunnels, it is easy to lose the way. Also, deadly gases, which are colorless and odorless, may be present and undetectable to spelunkers. Especially, special equipment can be purchased that will detect harmful gases. If you're a risk taker who craves adventure, spelunking is for you.
Thank you, Mr. Shell. And it has splunking rules. First, you should never go alone. Second, go with someone who is familiar with the cave. Third one, tell someone where you are going and when you expect to return. And fourth one, take at least 3 sources of light per person, such as flashlights, carbide lamps, candles, or anything that can be the source of light. And next one is wear proper hiking shoes. And the last one, dress in clothing that can protect the skin from cuts, bites, and scrapes. So, are you ready for? Oh, there are another rules of splunking, and do not go into caves when it is raining or when it might rain. Caves can flood in a short period of time. And next, carry plenty of water and snacks because you might feel thirsty or hungry or where you when you are inside in the cave, and bring something to mark your path such as rope, chalk, or string. And the next one is mark your path clearly and frequently. You must remember it, class. You must take note of it. And are you ready for our activity? So let's
Yes, ma'am.
start. Kindly please read and answer Miss Nershell, the number one.
Okay, ma'am. The purpose of the text is to letter A, give information about spelunking. B, give information about spelunking, cave formation, and habitat. Letter C, give information about spelunking, cave formation, cave habitat, and rules to remember for safe spelunking. I think, ma'am, the answer is letter C. It gives information about spelunking, cave formation, cave habitat, and rules to remember for safe spelunking.
Thank you, Miss Nershell. Wonderful answer. That is the correct answer. It is letter C because it is obvious that each one of you read it's about splunking, cave formation, cave habitat, and rules to remember for safe splunking. And that is indicated in the bold faced. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. For number two, kindly please read and answer Miss Jai.
Spelunking is A. An exciting sport of cave exploration that can be enjoyed by all ages. B. An exciting sport of cave exploration only that can be enjoyed only by teenagers. C. An exciting sport of cave exploration that can be enjoyed by old people. My answer is letter A. An exciting sport of cave exploration that can be enjoyed by all ages.
Thank you, Miss Jai, as stated in the text that we read, and the splunking can be enjoyed by all ages. maybe a child, teen, or an adult one. So for number three, can you please read and answer, Mr. Adrian?
The icicle-shaped rocks that hang down from the ceiling is called B. Stalactite.
That is the correct answer. Letter B, stalactite. That is the icicle shaped rocks that hang down in the ceiling of the cave. So, number four, can you please read and answer the number four, Miss Laika?
For the number four, the writer advises spelunkers to uh, letter B, ma'am, travel and explore with someone familiar with the cave.
That's correct. That is the most important advices that when you travel or explore, which you are not familiar with the cave, you must go with someone who is familiar so he can guide you throughout your journey inside of the cave. So the last one is, what is the main message of this article? Do you have any idea? Can you please share your idea?
Ma'am,
Yes, Norshell?
I think the main message of this article is uh, spelunking is the exciting sport of cave exploration that can be enjoyed by all ages.
Wonderful answer, Miss Norshell. Do you agree, class, that spelunking is the exciting sport of cave exploration that can be enjoyed by all ages? Do you agree?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you. Are you tired because we have lots of activity, but I think it is the last activity for this class. And so now let's proceed on activity three, which is digging deeper with close reading. Read and reread the articles planking. So follow the instructions below. For number one, what is a spelunking? Any volunteer from the class?
Um,
Yes, Mr. Ian.
what is spelunking? Spelunking is the exciting sport of cave exploration that can be enjoyed by all ages. When you explore caves, you can appreciate the wonders of our world beneath dirt.
Such an amazing answer. Thank you, Mr. Ian. So, how are caves formed? According to what you have read, class, how are caves formed? Do you have any idea? Miss Norshell, yes?
Ma'am, I think caves are formed over thousands of years through a very slow process. As it rains, rain droplets absorb small amounts of carbon dioxide. The droplets gather more carbon dioxide as they move through soil. Water mixed with carbon dioxide becomes an acid solution, which makes holes and channels in rocks. Over thousands of years, caves are formed.
Thank you, Miss Norshell. Such a wonderful answer. For number three, what is the difference between stalactite and stalagmite? Miss Joy, you know the answer. What's the difference of the two?
The difference between the stalactite and the stalagmite is the icicle shaped rocks that hang down from the ceiling are called stalactites, while the icicle shaped rocks that push up from the cafe floor are called stalagmites.
Thank you, Miss Chai, for giving us a detailed difference between stalactite and stalagmite. So, for number 4, what creepy animals live in caves? Miss Laika, do you know what creepy animals live in caves? Can you please give us example? Okay, anyone from the class can answer number 4 question?
Sorry, ma'am.
Yes. Yes,
Sorry.
Miss Laika, it's okay.
Okay, ma'am. For the number 4, what creepy animals live in a caves? You can expect to see bats as well as cave crickets, spiders, and algae.
Thank you, Miss Laika. That is correct. Such an amazing answer. So, for number 5, why should splunkers always travel with someone who is familiar with the cave in which they are traveling? Can you please answer this number 5, Mr. Adrian Gerson?
Number 5. Why should spelunkers always travel with someone who is familiar with the cave in which they are traveling? Spelunkers should always travel with someone who is familiar with the cave in which they are traveling. In the winding maze of cave tunnels, it is easy to lose the way.
Thank you, Mr. Gerson, for such a wonderful answer. So, let's now proceed to what you have learned throughout our discussion. And in this lesson, we focus on using appropriate reading strategies. So let's now generalize what have you learned. First, what is skimming? Can you share what have you learned?
Ma'am,
Yes, Miss Norshell.
I think, ma'am, skimming is about reading rapidly in order to get a general overview of the material.
Thank you, Miss Norshell. Your answer is correct. Thank you. And how would you define scanning, Miss Jai?
Scanning is reading rapidly in order to find specific facts.
Thank you, Miss Jai. And what other reading strategies have you learned in our discussion? Anyone from the class?
Can I volunteer, ma'am?
Yes, Miss Laika?
Okay, ma'am. For the other reading strategies that I have learned, this is close reading in literary criticism, is the careful, sustained interpretation of a brief passage of a text.
Thank you, Miss Laika. And you already know what is skimming, and you already know what is scanning, and the close ratings strategies that you can use when you read a selection of a text. So let's now proceed on the next slide, which is assessment. Are you ready, guys, for our assessment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So, direction. Read each of the following questions carefully, then say the letter of your answer from the given options. I'll just read the question and you just tell me what is the correct answer of it. So let's now start. Number 1, if you find a word in a dictionary, what reading strategy are you using? Letter A, skimming. B, scanning. C, intensive reading. D, close reading. What is the answer? Any volunteer from the class?
Ma'am,
Yes, Miss Norshell?
I think the answer is letter A, scheming.
That's correct, Miss Norshell. It's skimming. Do you have same answer, guys, with Miss Norshell?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Number two, if you read the news lead in the newspaper, what reading technique are you doing? Letter A, skimming. B, scanning. C, intensive reading. D, close reading. Any volunteer from the class?
Ma'am,
Yes, Mr. Gerson?
I think letter B, scanning.
Definitely, that is the correct answer. Thank you, Mr. Gerson. Number three, what reading technique are we employing if we use keywords and numbers? Letter A, skimming. B, scanning. C, intensive reading. D, close reading. Anyone from the class? Any volunteer wants to answer the number three question? Yes, Miss Norshell?
I think when the answer is letter B, scanning.
Yes, that is the correct answer because when you read, we're employing use keywords and numbers, you do the scanning strategy. So, number four, what reading strategy are we using if we want to quickly see the ingredients we need in a recipe? A, skimming. B, scanning. C, intensive reading. D, close reading. What is the answer for number four? Miss Laika?
Okay, ma'am. For the answer of number four, it is letter B, scanning.
Thank you, Miss Laika. That is the correct answer, which is scanning for number four. And last but not the least is number five. What reading strategy are you using if you are reading to find your team's score? A, skimming. B, scanning. C, careful reading. D, close reading. Miss Jai, what is the answer for number five?
My answer is letter B, scanning.
Yes, that is the correct answer. Thank you, Miss Jai. So let's now proceed on the next slide, which is assignment. I guess this is the end of our discussions, but before we end our class, I'll give you an assignment. Give five each example scenarios where you can use skimming and scanning strategies in reading. Can you do it, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And this will be submitted to my messenger, or you can email me. I'll just send my email on the chat box or our group chat, and you can submit it before on our next meeting next week. So thank you for listening and attending on our class.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
We learned a lot.
See you on our
Thank
next
you.
meeting. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
ma'am. Bye.